saw the mower max. Where was I? Was out Hartsville Knob or somewhere around there.
About to finish up the season. About to finish up the season.
Are you?
We don't want to look with EMS.
Hello?
Duane, I've had calls over on Allen Springs Cross Plaque and Nosco. They said, why didn't he do it all? Glad we ain't got no money today.
We got, I think Bill should be up there.
We're on.
All right, we'll call this it's a regular scheduled meeting, November 10th, 2022 of the Boyle County Fiscal Court. It moved because of the election from Tuesday of this week. So we'll start off today with an invocation by Magistrate Cullen.
All right, let's go ahead and bow. Our kind, gracious Heavenly Father, we are so grateful to be gathered here today amongst a group of people that truly care about this community and this county. We ask that you will put a special blessing on all those that that ran for office because of the love they have for Boyle County, and we had some losses that really are tugging at our hearts, and we ask that you will comfort us and those that that did not have the results they want. We also ask a special blessing on Jeff Ryan, who is one of our spouses of one of our employees, and he will be battling a terrible disease of cancer, and we ask that you will bless him and bless Susanna, that they will be able to receive the help and love and guidance that they need. Heavenly Father, we also ask that you will bless our military and our veterans and all those that have served and do serve our country. We are so grateful for the sacrifices that they make in many ways that many of us have no idea of what they and their families go through. So please put a blessing on them as they have served and always serve, no matter whether they wear the uniform or not. Please bless our first responders as well, as they continue to respond to the various needs of our county and our country and our nation. We ask that you will watch over this court session, that we will make decisions that are in the best interests of our county and those within it. And we say these things in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Good way to start. If you'll join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Before we get started with business, for those watching on the YouTube channel, I just want to make the statement I am in uniform because today this court is going to honor tomorrow's national holiday of Veterans Day, and we're as close to it as we can get here in the courtroom. And so I'm a veteran, and as you can tell, and there's veterans in the court, and later on in the agenda we will address that observance today. So that's why I'm in uniform.
And don't you have a couple other things you're going to do today right after?
I do, and after this, in fact, I need to be there at 11. I'm going to a veterans observance at Dino and go straight from there and be at an MIA, Missing in Action, flag raising ceremony in Keene, Kentucky at 1300 hours, and I'm looking forward to participating in that event of a gentleman that as a veteran served in World War II, Korea, and went missing in Vietnam.
Man.
Not too many have done that in the history of our military. In fact, I can give you the number. It's about 167,000 total that have done all three wars.
Judge, it's little known that Jimmy Stewart participated in all three. He, World War II, Korea, as a pilot, and as an observer on reconnaissance in Vietnam, where he was also at risk.
And later retired as a one-star general from the Air Force. So, we're moving on to approve, entertain a motion to the prior meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion to approve the prior meeting minutes made by Magistrate Ellis and seconded by Magistrate Gay. Are there any changes that need to be made to those minutes?
I've made a couple grammatical
Okay.
changes to them, but the content is the same. So just so
Okay.
you all are aware.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. And next, we have to pay some bills, and Mariah, you're on for that.
Let's do your packet for
Yes, ma'am.
I'm about to bring my copy in with me.
Yes, ma'am, you may.
Okay, so we have the bills to be paid, which you all have received, and they total out to $2,859,148.93.
Move we pay the bills as presented.
Motion made to approve the bills as presented by Magistrate Gay and seconded by Magistrate Short. Are there any questions?
I just wondered what the bulk of that amount.
Taxes.
What?
Taxes.
Taxes.
Actually, okay.
We had the county and city payroll tax and net profits in this, so.
What are you gonna say to him, Judge?
He's really late.
That's a court martial.
Phil Marshall thinking.
Bill had to do 20 push-ups.
He's probably, we got a good board over here.
He's probably in better shape. He's probably in better shape.
Whoever wants to challenge me in a push-up contest.
Good morning.
Come on,
He's
Tom.
ready to challenge.
No.
All right.
Put it out there in the center.
No.
We have a motion to approve the paying of
Second.
bills. Motion's made by Magistrate Gay, seconded by
Oh, there you
Magistrate
go.
Cullen.
All right.
Oh,
Short got it.
the short guy got
We
it?
were in discussion there.
Okay. Magistrate Short made the motion and seconded by Magistrate Cullen. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. All right, Darlene, I think this is your time for budget transfers.
I actually have chosen no budget transfers to make at this point.
Okay, there are no budget transfers. What about, looks like might be cash transfers.
I do have a few cash transfers, mostly due to operations, $227,500.
I'll make the motion, we approve the cash transfers.
Second.
Motion made to approve the cash transfers made by Magistrate Gay and seconded by Magistrate Sammons. Are there any questions? You have the information before you.
Yep. We're good.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. We're moving too quick, but there we are.
No, we're not. We're good.
All righty then. It starts in the consent calendar, and I want to start off with a great honor, and I'm going to ask Angie Muncy to come to the podium and say a few words, and we'll get started.
Well, I don't know. I'm going to call it a sad day for the people that use this Ghost Pike Convenience Center. I brought with me Cliff Black, who has been at the convenience center since it's been a convenience center, and I know everybody's going to miss him.
Absolutely.
I will.
I will.
I'll miss my 5 o'clock in the morning phone calls.
You know they have alarms, Angie, right?
Yeah, well. But no, Cliff, I'm going to miss you.
I don't know what.
I'm trying to get him to change his mind. He won't change his mind this
A
morning.
young guy like that, he should.
Well, I'm
I
telling
got a lot of
you,
things to do.
he's healthy enough to.
I've known Cliff as long as anybody, and it brings tears to my eyes to see him.
sir. All right, let's stand right here in front of this.
Good.
Well, how about with the
I have to charge you to drop stuff off now, though.
Tears of joy.
All right, come on, Phil. I mean, Bill.
Cliff.
Cliff Black. Cliff Black.
He was reading
Cliff
it
Black.
He knows I know his name because he would greet me and my Jack Russell Daisy all the time.
Yes, sir.
And we'd have great conversations. Let me, here, we gotta do it this way,
There you go.
and then we go. There we go.
Not the first time.
All right, looks good.
Angie, you get it.
All right, Angie.
You get in, Phil?
Oh, yeah.
Phil, come on in there.
Come on, let's get the mountains in here for.
You're the committee man. You
Yeah, get your-
get up here.
Get the committee in there.
I want my committee in here.
Watch that cord.
Yeah.
I've had to put up with you, and so has he, so.
It's good, the more people on.
Yeah, unplug the courthouse.
I was told it was my darling.
You gonna sit by your darling?
Hey, darling.
Can I get on this side?
Yes, sir. Here we go.
Yeah, Phil's not going to
All
share.
right, you got everybody?
Yes, sir. All right, give me a smile. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Cliff's got the
The
biggest
crazy
smile
thing,
for
you-
retirement life.
I'll see you next week.
I'm gonna miss you.
I'll be at
No
your
doubt.
table. I'll be at the table with you next week.
We'll take one.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
There's $1,000 bill behind you.
Good.
Thank you.
They don't make it less.
Huh?
They don't make $1,000.
No. No.
Okay.
Might have one.
Thank you.
Sir.
Here, Angie, I got some credit cards and stuff missing.
You ain't gonna get far. Done already spent them.
It's good to see you.
They're already maxed
Thank
out.
you.
Hey, can you-
Yeah.
Cliff, you want to make sure. So you don't
He's got that picture of the clean one there.
Yes, it's clean too. Clean as it can be. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Best to you.
Good luck to you.
Cliff, best to you.
Thank you very much.
I give him a couple months, he'll want to come back in the spring.
I told him, well, we're gonna have to start charging him to drop his stuff off there, so then I'll come back.
That's right.
Start that rumor.
Yeah.
What?
Charging people.
All right. Next on our agenda, and that Cliff.
Do what?
Cliff is a special person to have been out there since the convenience center started, and you know, he's one of the unsung heroes of the county, because sometimes our great residents aren't as gentle and kind when they're told that they can or can't do something that they thought they could do. And unfortunately, he's experienced a lot of different responses to people as they drive through out there.
So
So
some of these old ladies tell me at my district that they pull up, you know, Cliff's always there to help them. Or to
Help them unload their vehicle?
Yeah,
yeah, he's really good at
yeah,
that.
he's a good person.
Next, I want to read the 2022 NP Week Proclamation, which NP stands for Nurse Practitioner. And so allow me to read this, and we'll present this in the form of a recommendation proclamation from me, and then once it's read, let's go for a second, and then we'll vote on approving it for history. Whereas nurse practitioners play a critical role as trusted providers of health care for patients in Kentucky, and whereas nurse practitioners work to expand health care access in underserved communities, promote health equality in care, and whereas patients depend on the more than 10,255 licensed nurse practitioners in the Commonwealth of Kentucky to diagnose, manage, and treat their chronic and acute health care conditions. And whereas nurse practitioners provide high quality primary, acute, and specialty health care services while emphasizing health promotion, disease prevention, health education, and counseling, guiding patients to make smarter health and lifestyle choices every day. Whereas the confidence that patients have in nurse practitioners delivered health care is evidenced by the more than 1 billion visits made annually to nurse practitioners across the country. And whereas more than 5 decades of research demonstrate the high quality of care provided by nurse practitioners, and whereas better utilization of nurse practitioners through modernized state laws and improved policies creates better health through a more accessible, efficient, cost-effective, and higher quality health care system, and whereas more than half the nation has adopted full practice authority legislation offering patients full and direct access to the outstanding care provided by nurse practitioners, and whereas leading government and policy entities, including the National Academy of Medicine, the National Council of State Boards of Nursing, the National Governors Association, and Federal Trade Commission, have taken notice of the benefits of providing patients full and direct access to nurse practitioner delivered care. And whereas nurse practitioners serve as a primary care provider of choice for many Kentuckians and play a pivotal role in the health and welfare of our communities. And whereas Boyle County Fiscal Court is proud to recognize and honor the service of nurse practitioners in our county and state, be it resolved that I, Judge Executive Hunt, hereby declare November 13 through 19, 2022 as Nurse Practitioner Week in Boyle County in recognition of the countless contributions nurse practitioners have made over the past half century and will continue to make on behalf of the health and well-being of our citizens.
So moved.
Second.
Seconded by Magistrate Gay. And is there any discussion to the proclamation?
Well, I would just like to echo a lot of the things that were said in the proclamation, but particularly I think it's oftentimes not recognized how important nurse practitioners are as primary care providers in our healthcare system, and they fill a tremendous gap which is occurring as we're having more and more of a shortage of family care physicians in a lot of our communities, and nurse practitioners are doing a great job of filling that gap.
Judge, I'd like to echo those comments because in '72, when I first entered the healthcare system, it was virtually non-existent. Many law changes have taken place over the ensuing years, and they are a vital part of our healthcare system.
I agree. Yes, sir, John.
I think yes, obviously they are very important, but all people who are in the healthcare system are equally important. They went through a very hard couple of years, more than what we will ever realize, what they went through and the risk to themselves to help others. So all of them need to be recognized, and I want to add that group who participate in that also. It all takes a team to do it.
Absolutely does. It does. Okay, anybody else? All those in favor of approving the proclamation as read signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, and the motion carries unanimously. It will be so entered into the record, and this will be presented back to the state association. And thank you for that support of nurse practitioners in Boyle County and then throughout the Commonwealth. All right. It looks like it's now time for Duane Campbell to come before us.
You want to spend more money, God dang.
Yeah, I
What's more money?
I want to spend a lot of money.
Money, money,
You
money.
never gives us this before, huh?
Yeah, I was sick last
What
week.
we're gonna do when we run out of money?
Here, you won't order.
I'm not buying anymore.
There you go. Can't spend if you got money.
Have to auction off what we got.
There.
There you go.
Sorry.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I had written it down in blue ink, but I wasn't even thinking, but no, I'll give. Two items we talked about last meeting, and so I just want to come back and report to you where we are before we make the purchase. We budgeted for a 4-ton hot mix or an asphalt hot box, and there was a state price contract for this item, but the state price contract was a closed contract. In other words, local governments cannot purchase from it. We pursued it, and we tried to get approval to purchase from that contract, but could not. And so the prices you see there, three prices, Sealmaster, KM, and BrewPro, those are retail prices. Those are prices that they quoted to me for a new item, new unit. The next price you see right below that is for a used unit from the same Sealmaster, which is the unit we really like. We've looked at two of these, and the third one is very similar to one of them. Anyway, the Falcon, which Sealmaster sells, is the unit we like the most. They have a good 2-year-old used unit, which is under the bid amount of $30,000. It's $26,000 for a used unit. They're willing to replace the heating elements and controls and so forth, which are the main wear items on these units. And so they're willing to replace those, so we're more or less starting with a new unit other than just a little bit of wear and tear on the unit. They do rent units, so that's what this is. It's a unit that they've kept on hand. It's not something that that they've gotten back or taken back in on trade. It's something that they see weekly and clean and maintain and put back out there.
Duane, before going farther, would you, I think I know basically what this is, but I bet a lot of us don't know exactly how it works and
Okay.
what you put in it, get it heated up to the right temperature and all this and that. Explain to me exactly what the box is made of and what it is.
It's a box. It's a steel box. It's on trailers, trailer mounted. It does have a dump feature to it. You can dump out of it. But anyway, it's a heated box, and you can put asphalt in it. You can put hot mix in it or cold mix in it and heat it. And especially in the winter time when you put cold mix out there and you can warm that stuff up, it works so much better. It goes down, it stays down better than it does when we put it down cold. And so it works great for winter time. And then through the summer, you can keep your hot mix warm instead of letting it get cold and get hard where you can't work with it. So you don't have as much waste, so it reduces the waste on that material too when you're out there patching. So it's just a very handy unit to have. It's something we've probably talked about now for a handful of years, and finally, because of other items that we needed, we've finally been able to budget for one or put it included in our budget. So that's what the unit is, and that's how it would be used. And so it's the city, matter of fact, just bought one last spring. I think.
Is this similar to the, I remember one time we had a demonstration, this company came in and we did this out on Godby Lane.
Okay, no, this is just a box. You just put the cold mix or hot mix in it. That one out there was a spray type unit, where you kind of made your own asphalt.
Yeah.
So you have to have a storage tank, you have to have an oil tank, somewhere to store your oil with and stuff like that. So it's
Would
At
we
least
be
you've
buying
bigger.
would we be buying a maintenance agreement?
no. It's just, they're only you mainly, there's a control eye, there's the burner head, those types, just minor items that you mainly have to replace about every 3 years on it for maintenance. Pretty low maintenance.
And the one we currently have is how old?
We don't have one.
Don't have one.
All right.
That's part
And
of
so you're comfortable with the used one, I'm hearing you
Yes.
say?
Yes.
I'll make a motion, we
Second.
purchase the used one from Sealmaster for $26,000.
Okay, we have a motion made by Mr. Gaines, second by Mr. Cullen to purchase the used Sealmaster 4-ton unit. Questions I might have is, how's this fit in our 65% and budget
We're fine. We've got,
on all regards, and including the next one he's gonna present to us, just for information?
we have over $200,000 in new equipment.
I was gonna say there was.
So we won't even be $100,000. We're not even gonna spend half of it this fiscal year.
Okay. Anybody else have any other questions?
Well, one good thing about it, it makes it seal. You know, when you put it down, it
Yes.
seals itself, and
Yes.
it will stay there. And so that's a big plus.
A big plus.
All right.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
And just for the minutes, these are budgeted items. These are items we discussed during budget time. They are in our budget. They're not items that I'm coming to you now brand new, okay? Then the second item is a skid loader. And on this one, there is a state price contract. It is an open contract. And I don't know if somebody's writing some notes down, but Mariah, I'll give you this number, but there is a master agreement number that I've written down on my paper, but it's not on that one, that you probably ought to have for the minutes to refer to. But anyway, Meat Equipment has that state price contract, and so we can purchase through our local meat dealer. And the price on that is $58,934. And that's right at our budgeted amounts, maybe we budgeted 55, so it's $3,000 over the budgeted amount, but we saved $9,000 on the unit we just approved on the hot box.
So you're still within your new equipment purchase budget line item?
Yes.
Make a motion.
Motion made by Magistrate Short to
Second.
purchase the skid loader as presented and seconded by Magistrate Cullen. Questions?
This is a track one, not a wheel, right?
A track, yes.
Good.
Rubber or metal?
It'll be rubber tracks.
Be rubber track?
Yeah.
Okay. It just extends your usability in certain environments.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Any other questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. All right.
Thank you, Duane.
It went well, didn't it, Duane?
Make it quick, it did.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, next. Let's see what Steve Griffin has for us. He has some exciting news.
Yes. Yes, I do. Anything that's free is exciting, right?
Exactly.
Sent out a message earlier this week about we've launched the Employee Assistance Program, and which is long overdue here in the county. It allows for any of us to call and talk with a counselor with no charge to us if we need to for whatever need, from financial, to like I say, raising kids, finding childcare and stuff, but getting referrals and things. So it's going to be really, really helpful. One thing we're still
They don't have the EAP chart of information that I looked at earlier. We need to. Do you?
It was emailed out to us.
Yeah,
it was emailed to you.
Yeah.
It was attached.
So you do have
got
it.
yes.
Okay.
Yes,
All
I'm
right,
sorry.
I'm sorry. Interrupt.
It's okay. The one thing we're still working on, and which I haven't seen an EAP that didn't offer this right away, but is to be able to do referrals to them from I call them a hard referral, where we have an internal issue with an employee, and we know if they get some help outside, we refer them, and they must complete the program that they're advise them to enter and to complete, and to keep their job, more or less. So we always have those, and they're working on making sure we can get one of those with this as well. So more news on that. So any questions about the EAP?
With this deal that we just went through, would that help this individual or not?
It could, I'm not sure if it would help. I don't know.
Circumstances of what we just
circumstances are really different. I just don't know how it would. I mean, again, it's always out there for people to use. We don't have to refer you. It's just there. If I've got some
This is a huge benefit, in my personal opinion.
It is. It really, any place I've ever worked, we've had them, and people have really used them well to help them and help the companies. So
People that really want to do better.
yeah, they do, and or if they have a family member who they want to do better, they can call too. Like Al-Anon and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, it's a tremendous benefit, and appreciate all your work on this, because it really is a nice program, and having in my career at Center College that was available there, and it's completely confidential. It's important
Absolutely.
for people to know and understand that you or your family member can call this number and kind of have that conversation completely confidential, and
And that can't be
easy to do to
emphasized.
reach out. It's just a matter of picking up the phone and reaching out.
Yeah, they can't be emphasized enough. You're right, Jamie. I appreciate you saying that.
Helps in longevity too, of the employees, I would
Yep.
think.
Yeah.
Better performance at their job.
Yeah, because everybody brings their home to work with them. You're right.
And they've got a friend out there that they can call.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Will you send out something for the employees to know, like maybe the paycheck stuff?
Yeah, we'll be sending some stuff out. Okay, we've also began the advertisement for a new animal control officer. We've already gotten some resumes in, and one of them we think's really good. Actually, it's a former employee, so we'll see what else comes in. And so,
Very good.
Did the other individual take the transfer?
yes. Any other questions?
Anybody got any other questions? I don't know, do we know what time Lisa's supposed to be here? Did we
She's
tell her?
here by now, so I haven't heard. If she doesn't get here, I can give a high-level view, but I won't give a detail.
Give the 30,000 view,
Yeah.
30,000 foot view.
If we can wait and see when she's coming.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll move ahead a little bit and then come back and be flexible if she shows up here shortly.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Steve. All right, as you can see, Lisa Stam is on there to discuss the pharmaceutical program for us that from Cheryl Morgan. So if she shows up here shortly, we'll do that. If not, like I say, we'll get Steve to give us the 30,000-foot view on that. I think it's a money saver from what I've seen and heard in the past, and that's the bottom line. It will be another enhanced benefit to our employees. Darlene, we got some budget amendments and some other things you want to share with us.
Okay. I've got a couple of things, actually. I basically saved all my budget amendments for one time, so that we could do one big fat newspaper print. But we had, originally, we didn't think there were a few areas that we were going to be continuing on with. So in the meantime, we continued with the social worker salary and so forth, and that was actually done after the budget was turned in. I had Trails grant money that we thought we would come in last fiscal year, actually didn't come in until July, so I had to add that on. So there were several different budget amendments I had to make account for. I did two different lists. One list totals $336,926.59.
Did you get our SRO stuff in there? The amendment on the budget for the SROs? Sheriff's Office,
That,
that extra,
I think that's,
is that in
that's
there?
just, that's a movement.
Okay, cool.
That was a movement, 100,000.
Yeah, I think that was just a movement. That's not actual money that's coming in.
Not actual money, I like it.
Yeah. It's not actual money. We're just playing them with monopoly money. I thought they would enjoy that. The second one is where I am taking over the prior year carryovers. I've kind of held out because of the issues with Springbrook and watching everything follow through. So I've got a list of the prior year carryover amounts budgeted versus what were actually in the bank accounts. And as it turned out, right in July, we received quite a bit of different money from different places. So my budget year, or my prior year carryovers were a little short on some areas, but that's okay. That means we just have more money that we could put into reserves. So that's what I've done there. All together, they total $10,186,885.86.
I have a question. And is the second load of ARPA funds required to be amended to 2.9?
No, because it's budgeted.
Because it is budgeted.
It's budgeted amount, yeah.
I just want to make sure that we had it in the right spot.
Yeah, no, it's actually, it was a budgeted amount. So
Because we knew it was going to happen.
Okay,
so
it's actually included in the budget. So I actually have that second amount to do the budget amendments for.
Okay, we have, I have two sheets here. They look and appear to be different. So you want to go ahead, you want to do them separately?
You can do them together or separately. I think either way.
I'll make a motion, we approve both.
Okay, I have one. Did you read the amount on the first one?
The first one
was
the $336,926.59.
And the second one, just for, these are carryovers and transfers.
Yeah, $10,186,885.86.
Budget amendments. Anybody see that? Have any questions?
They were done last minute, and I apologize, but I was actually writing these up at 11:30 last night, so.
I'll make the motion, we approve that budget amendment.
You done
Second,
need to
sorry,
second it.
second.
So, motion made to approve both amendments. List of amendments by Magistrate Cullen, seconded by Magistrate Gay. Now we can have discussions, ask questions. There being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. I'll sign these, and thank you, Darlene.
Okay.
What else you got?
I do have a couple other things that kind of came up last minute. we have a deadline to apply for CAECO workers' comp grant. And so this year we also wanted to, this came in last year. We also wanted to apply for it again this year for Boyle County EMS. So we're looking for permission to apply for that CAECO safety grant for 2023. And it is to cover the Samsara, which is the safe driving and coaching software. The estimated cost for Samsara is $5,040, and this is an 80-20 split. So.
Well, we received it last year, didn't we?
Yep, it's made a huge
There
difference.
won't be any problem.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We might know somebody at CAECO that could help us with that.
That would be great if we could find somebody like that.
Motion made by Magistrate Cullen, second
No,
by
Gay.
Magistrate Kaywood. Who made it?
Magistrate Gay.
Gay. And Magistrate Kaywood seconded.
Yep.
All right. Are there any questions or discussions on the motion?
The committee this morning discussed it, and it was found to be very worthwhile
Yep.
last year, so we recommended it for this.
Very worthwhile.
$250,000 pieces of equipment that
Yeah.
we have an exact idea of what's going on and what's happening. It's a great training tool, well worth the money spent, even just the 20% we've spent.
Then we followed up with a kind of a thank you note to the person that's writing the check.
Absolutely. I think that can be done.
Oh, yeah, I think
I think
it'd be
so.
worthwhile for the next year.
I actually- I think it's fruitcake season, so I know somebody likes fruitcakes.
You put a really-
You like fruitcake?
He does.
You've been holding out on Jamie, sir? You've been holding out on Jamie not giving him fruitcakes?
You're gonna like this.
Any other discussions on the motion?
Nope.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. And the motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Okay. One last thing, well, actually, kind of two last things. One last thing, there was a question this week that came in through email about a report, condition report for last fiscal year. And we do have that. I do have a report in hand. I think because of the way that Springbrook has, the way that the transition has gone, I've not made this public fully yet because I think that there may be a tweak or two and I don't want to really put it out there
Yeah.
without it being 100% correct.
I think that's
So it is lengthy and it is complete. It's just, I would prefer to make sure all of my I's are dotted and my T's are crossed.
Sure.
I also have confirmations for hotels and everything for
CAECO.
next week's CAECO conference, so make sure you get those before you leave.
Thank you.
Get those
I like
for
that.
you.
You want me to pass those?
Yep, we can do so.
Darlene, could I have that number that's going to attend next week? Is everybody on?
The number
I
for
don't
the
know.
tables,
Yeah,
I think
Mariah
Mariah's
has it.
going
You have
to.
that?
I mean, I don't have it in front of me, but pretty much just about
I was
everyone's
gonna
going.
say,
I
I
haven't,
don't have the exact number.
my wife and I separate.
I was gonna say, yeah, you may have.
I know Ronnie's just going to the bank.
We're going to the bank.
And I think pretty much everyone's
Yeah,
spouse
some of the
is going
top.
along with them, and I know that.
Mariah, would you give me a list?
Yes, sir, I sure will.
You should get a check.
Always going, and I just going, and.
Can I get that one, please?
I did spell it, but it still did not come out right.
I understand.
So,
This is for Janie Gay.
Okay, good, thank
here
you.
you go, Jamie.
Look at the top.
Yeah, I like it.
Janie.
And if I need to make any changes to hotels, let me know. Yeah, probably let me know today because I'll have to make them by about Monday. Today or Monday.
Yeah, I would let her know today if you need changes to your reservations.
Ryan Woodford. Ryan Woodford.
All right, let's see. Is that all, Darlene? I guess it is.
That is it. I'm good.
I want to, as I mentioned earlier when we started, I want to have a bit of a special Veterans Day observance. Would you all like to do the magisterial reports before we do that and go around the room and get that business?
I had one thing that we had talked about in committee meeting this morning that I wanted to kind of bring up before the court. That it's not on the agenda, but I wanted to kind of take a opportunity to see if we can get the court's weigh in on this, because it's something we need to do and we need to handle. So.
Okay, well, we'll just do the magistrate reports, and you can include that in your district as part of your committee discussions this morning.
Okay.
With Mike and stuff.
Sounds good.
We'll start out with John and go around the room.
Excuse me, I'll try to be quick. Just wanted to acknowledge and recognize that we did receive P&Ls from the Convention Bureau. Kendall sent them to us as I requested. Requested it because I think we need to look for trends, because I tend to think tourism may be a potential avenue for additional cash flow, not only into the court, but into the community. This may be an area that we could improve on, and I think it's up to the authority to see where they want to go with this. But first, let's start collecting data in order to make decisions off of. And I appreciate Kendall sending that and want to recognize that. So you all, I would ask you all to continue to follow this and see if we're right, that maybe Ball County is more of a tourist area than we thought. But let's put together data and see what the direction could be. We have not talked about solar panels for a long time. I don't know if it's still an issue that is on the table. I don't know where we are with that, but I do think if we are going to have to, if you all are going to vote on it at some time, you need to start putting together information about it, because it is a very complicated matter, and it is one of the more important votes that you'll ever make. P&Z director, we've been lucky to have Gary Chedester fill in, but I don't think Gary plans to stick around forever. So I don't know where we are in that.
There is a
search.
director.
There's a director.
Michaela?
Yep. They hired a director.
Oh, you have? Okay.
We're just waiting for her to come in and introduce herself.
So that's done and pretty much down the road then?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. She's been in the spot, I think, for about a week or two.
Okay. Thank you for bringing me up to
Hello.
that. There is a veterans lunch at Cedar Creek, Lincoln County. Starts at 11 with lunch, and then the program will be at noon. So just wanted to make you all aware. I do know that it conflicts with another one.
Camp Nelson.
Camp Nelson. So, but they're expecting 100, 200 people tomorrow. So
I can't be in both places at the same time, but I'm gonna try to attend both.
well, you're covered, Judge.
Good.
You're covered.
Thank you. Anything
That's
else? Okay. John?
I don't have anything.
All right, thank you.
I just want to thank all the veterans, and I know we're going to do that a little more, but I did want to mention that during my time. And our son, Jameson, is, of course, a veteran, a young veteran at this point in time after having served 8 years of active duty in the United States Navy. So I appreciate his service, along with all of the rest of yours in this room and everybody in our community that has served our country.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay, thank you. Bill?
I just want to thank, John's too proud to tell the whole story. He's going to be the guest speaker there tomorrow.
All right.
So,
I love hearing him speak.
I do too, so, I just want that out, and I want to tell you how proud I am of John. John went through hell in Vietnam.
Oh, yeah, he did.
We all know that. And, I was in about the same time he was, but I was at his desk and he was in the ditches. So that's why I'm so proud of him. So, if you can at all, and happen to have John speak before, you'd be in for a good learning lesson. What are you going to tell
It's excellent. It's excellent. Anything else?
Thank you, Phil.
All right. Jason, you're on.
I'm going to echo the sentiment. I'm grateful for the veterans that we have here and that have served. I'm grateful to Mr. Chandler as well.
Mr. Hogue.
Mr. Hogue, I'm sorry. Mr. Hogue, sorry.
He's been called worse.
You made an impact on my 11-year-old daughter. She met you at the parade, and she had a moment to, you shared some of your injuries with her, and she's talked about that about every day, and I've made sure she understands how special an individual you are. So I'm grateful, I have several family members that have served, and so grateful for all y'all that have kept this country free. So, Chris, question for you about opioid settlement money. Do we have any clue when that's coming down the pipeline, or?
I think they keep on teasing us like, oh, there's a settlement, here's a bankruptcy, here's a, so.
Yeah.
No, I haven't heard anything in a little bit, so.
Okay. All right.
Sorry.
Oh, no worries. I just thought I would ask. Christmas parade is back on the schedule for Danville, Boyle County. So that's going to be December 10th, but they're looking for volunteers, floats, everything. So we missed last year. Let's make sure this year is a huge one and we get back out. And then the part that I wanted to ask the court about was we have an opportunity to hire a EMT. She's currently part-time with us, but she wants to go full-time. We technically don't have a full-time spot open, but we do have a full-time spot open because we have somebody out. So my biggest fear...
It's out temporarily.
It's out temporarily, correct. My biggest fear is that with the shortage of EMTs, we actually technically don't have that problem, but that's because we were proactive and went and did the schooling and everything. So we have an opportunity to hire somebody full-time who definitely wants to go full-time. I'm worried that they may end up getting an offer somewhere else if we wait too long. So what I would like to do is, and Mike, if you want to step up and kind of talk about this, I'd like to see, and I've talked to Steve, I've talked to Darlene, or John and I have talked to Steve and Darlene in the committee this morning. We have the budget for it, and we have the Steve has no issues with no restraints on like hiring an additional full-time person out there. So
Yeah, I think you summed it up pretty well. We have someone that's on FMLA, and we have some other people that we're going to need to be off for a while. So just makes sense to be able to hire Abby.
Be off for a while. What period of time?
Well, we have at least two that are pregnant. So
they're expecting.
They're expecting mothers, so they're going to need some time off soon. So
usually around 6 months.
Yeah. So while we don't have the
one's off already, early on in their
Why do you hire these pregnant people for?
We didn't vote. Anyway.
But yeah, excellent opportunity, and she's a hard worker.
Yep.
And so we'd like to go ahead and move her to full-time if the court's pleasure.
I don't know if you guys heard, Abigail Thomas is the person that's working part-time that we'd like to move to full-time. She's a hard worker. She's been great. We actually talked about her not too long ago when she came on, and she's recently, she's also on the fire department, Boyle County Fire Department, along with her brother Antonio. But yeah.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Wonderful.
Motion.
It's an opportunity to keep a good person.
Right.
Motion been made by Magistrate Gay, second by Magistrate Ellis, to increase our full-time authorization by one person within the budget allowances that do exist, and to bring on, and basically I would assume that this person, although full-time, would be not a reserve, but would fit into the rotational cycle in the absence of those that are on leave for whatever reason, personal or otherwise. So, anybody have any questions about the motion?
The only thing I'd like to know, if you want to contact the person that's on medical leave and explain to them that Because they're gonna have doubts when you hire somebody in their
They
spot.
will know they have the same
Yeah.
spot to come back to
Yeah.
when they come off
Okay.
FMLA.
Make sure they understand that fully.
Really, all you're doing is hiring a new full-time person.
It really has no bearing on
No
their staff.
replacement, just on a full-time.
And just for, as we talk about the money side from Darlene, she is pretty much working as many hours as allowed in part-time. And at some point, you kind of almost have to cut her off, so we're going to end up being short a person. But yeah, the other person's spot is still there.
Well, that spot, I assume, is a part-time spot, right?
No.
The spot that she has right now, Abigail is part-time right now. The person that's out on FMLA is full-time.
Okay.
So we'll just.
You'll have two full-time EMTs then.
Yeah.
Got that in the budget?
Yes.
Yes.
Call the
That's all
question.
I have.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion as presented signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, gentlemen, very much, and I appreciate it. And like John said this morning, we can't sit on opportunities like this because someone else will gobble these people up. So,
That was a good move, good call.
right, thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, Tom?
I too would like to echo the sentiments about all of our veterans, Judge, John, Bill, and I'm so pleased to see my good friend, Mr. Hogue here over to my left. And I'll have a little bit more to say about Mr. Hogue in a moment or two.
Okay.
Kudos to Brian Caldwell and the state. When Brian brought to my attention a few weeks ago the situation at Horseshoe Bend on Mitchellsburg Knob, I went out there and took pictures, did some layman's evaluations, and wrote it up to the state, estimating at that point, with no engineering degree, that I thought there was at least a danger of 100 tons of boulders coming down off that, especially during the winter time when ice would get in there and freeze and pop things. Amazingly, when the job was all done, 800 tons were hauled out of Mitchellsburg Knob. So thanks to the state and thanks to Brian for certainly bringing it to our attention. In terms of Perryville, Christmas parade comes up 11/26, so we've got two, and encourage everybody to be part of that. Just saw the Penn store is now being acknowledged by some of the local media in Lexington this week as being the oldest in America, continuously operated by the same family entity out in Portland, and I just wanted to make that comment. And then finally, the judge and I have been working diligently on Crawford House, and I've got some good news, Judge. We may have a couple of more interested parties when we can get with the state and hopefully have them de-accession it so that a private entity can purchase it. Chris, when we end today, I need to get with you on a legal matter that I was asked about, because the bidders, the potential bidders, because it's not even been stated by Frankfurt that it would be de-accessioned formally, but those discussions are going on, and at least one person had some questions about the deeding situation. So I'll get with you, Chris, when we adjourn.
I might have an individual that's interested in that.
Good.
When it becomes available.
Excellent, good. And I'm sure the state would be pleased to have multiple bidders, as
Yeah,
we are as
absolutely.
taxpayers.
Well, thank you. And Counselor, I'll let you have a few minutes to say some things that you want to say.
I mean, I don't have a whole lot. I want to thank all our veterans, and leading up to Veterans Day, as I talked last time, I got to go on the honor flight, which was absolutely awesome. And if you haven't gone on it, you need to. It's just amazing. And I just want to honor my dad, who was in the Navy for 3 years during the Vietnam era time. So thank you, Mr. Hogue, for your service as well. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Lisa and Robin have showed up, and
Before we go, Duane has some housekeeping stuff that he's taking.
Okay.
One quick thing, on those two items, can we go ahead and get approval to pay for them upon delivery?
that does take a separate motion.
Second that.
Okay, motion been made to pay for the items that are agreed to earlier by Magistrate Gaines, seconded by Magistrate Cullen. Any discussion on that? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion carries. Thank you. All right, Lisa, we're going, it's not Halloween, I'm not in costume, but we have a Veterans Day observance later on after you finish speaking. And Robin, you're welcome to stay around afterwards. And, now I'm gonna give the floor to you so you can make your presentation, that you came down here for.
Okay. Thank you, Judge. Morning, everyone.
Morning.
I'm Lisa Stam. I'm staff attorney with Cheryl Morgan, and this is Robin Curry. He's a key account manager with Cheryl Morgan, and we're the consultants for the county's health plan. So I'm here this morning to give you an update on our renewal recommendations and to let you know how the plan is run this year and how we project it will run next year. So in general, the plan has performed very well this year. At the end of the third quarter, we are projecting that your costs will be up about 3.8% from 2021. And your trend over the last 4 years has been about 4% per year. And that's especially noteworthy when you consider that national trend is almost 7%. So you're doing better than national trend. And your cost per employee per year is significantly lower than both state and national benchmarks. So you are currently running at about 9% below other Kentucky governments and about 13% below national employers. So you've done really well. So as far as our recommendations are concerned, as far as your plan administration is concerned, we would recommend that you renew with Aspirant using the Anthem network. Aspirant's fee per employee per month is increasing about $5.87, which equates to about $7,500 for the year next year. And your pharmacy administration is performed by MedBen, and they are holding their fees for next year. So we recommend that you renew with MedBen for your pharmacy administration. In terms of your stop loss, your current carrier Companion initially presented a 10% increase on premium and a 36% increase on your maximum claims. But Cheryl Morgan and Aspirant went to the market and we received quotes, or requested quotes from 11 different stop loss carriers. And based on some of that competition, Companion actually lowered their premium renewal to 10% below current.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's
really good.
Yes, we're very pleased with that. That equates to about $29,000 less in stop loss premium that you'll pay in 2023 compared to 2022. And they actually also reduced your attachment point or your maximum claims number by, instead of it being a 36% increase, it will be a 4.6% increase. And they reduced their laser liability that is currently on your policy. So a laser is simply a higher specific deductible on one person on your plan. And you currently have a higher specific deductible for one individual. It's $125,000. Everybody else on the plan has a $75,000 specific deductible. And they've actually lowered that to $110,000. So all in all, a really great renewal from Companion, and we would recommend that you renew with them at your current specific deductible of $75,000. Any questions on that before I move on? Okay, in terms of your...
Should we take a motion to approve
you want to
renewal
approve
before you go any
Yeah.
further?
Make that motion.
All right, motion made by Magistrate Gaines, second by Magistrate Short, that we continue with the renewal as presented, and got that right? Okay. Is there any questions of Lisa right now? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion carries. Thank you unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you. We are not making many plan design recommendations, actually none, but we are recommending that you bring in a company called RX Help Centers. And what they are is an advocacy company that is able to assist your employees with finding assistance with their copays. So there are a lot of manufacturers who have either copay cards that they offer that reduce people's copays significantly. Sometimes they even offer free programs, so your member could get their medication at no cost, and the medication would also be zero cost to the plan. This company does a great job of hand-holding people and helping them to find alternative sources of financing for their medications whenever possible. And the cost of that service would be $15,000 for the year for the county, but the projected savings for the county and employees combined would be $176,000. So that's a really good return on investment.
Return on
Yeah,
investment.
I like that math.
Yeah, so we've got extensive experience with this company, and we highly recommend them. I think they'll do a great job for both the county and for your employees.
I'll make that motion as well.
Motion made to go with the savings, what was the name?
RX Help Centers.
RX Help Centers. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Second, Magic Cullen, made by Magic Gay. Okay. Questions?
Now, does this employees pay for this?
No, it's a free service to them, and it's completely
So
voluntary.
the county has to pay for it?
County pays for
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Yes.
What, do they walk in with a card from this entity?
There's a link that they can use, and we've got some educational materials that we will provide so that employees know that if they want assistance with RX Help Centers, they just register with this link, and then an advocate contacts them and helps them to get all their information together.
And that'll be reviewed at health fair times annually and everything going forward. Okay. Any other questions? All those in, yes, sir. No. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
And then we're just recommending that you continue with the 3 plans that you have currently, and the newest of those is a plan design that actually has an affordable premium for family coverage. That was just adopted during the course of this calendar year. So no changes to the plan designs being recommended. And then also we're recommending that you continue with your wellness program, having a premium differential for those who have an annual physical each year. And we found that that has been a very successful program thus far. There has been a big increase in the number of people who have had preventive care visits and preventive screenings this year. And that's what we want to see, because anytime somebody's getting preventive care, the chances of that person having a big claim down the road or a very serious health condition are reduced. So those are our plan recommendations. And then in terms of premiums, based on your third quarter costs or your plan costs through the third quarter of 2022, we're predicting that you'll end the year with a surplus. So you've budgeted more than you've spent. And we're projecting that there will be an increase of 4.7% next year in total costs, but the amount that you're currently funding your plan at will be sufficient to account for that increase. So we are not recommending an increase to employee premiums or an increase in your budget.
Good news.
And that's the second year in a row that there's been no increase.
Very good news.
Thank you. That's everything.
So do we need a motion proposal to maintain those 3 plans as presented?
That's up to you.
I'll make the motion.
Good coverage. Second.
Okay, been motion made to continue the 3 plans as presented by Lisa Sam, to continue those that made by Magic Cullen, second by Magic Ellis. Does anybody have any questions about that?
I thought we voted for them individually. Didn't we do that?
This is for the premiums for next year.
Oh, just the premium, okay.
Is that okay?
Would I be able to get a copy of all those numbers and such from
Yes.
you, just for my...
Sure. Yeah.
For the record?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any other questions?
No.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you all.
All right, thank you.
you.
For hard and healthy people.
That helps.
Julie, do you have anything for the court?
I don't.
Can I say one last thing?
Yes, sir.
We need to get Brian Coel down here at one point to talk about Civic Ready. We need more people to sign up. That's where we kind of went away from the Code Red and have the Civic Ready. And so we just need.
You want him on the schedule for next court? Or
Yeah,
what?
I think so. Because that's. I mean, I hadn't signed up for it. I actually just did.
Is the
But-
next court will be the same as the right time?
I think
Yes.
it's the 22nd.
22nd.
This month.
Yep,
Yeah.
typical meeting,
Before
yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, if we could add them on there just to kind of talk about it, but we need to make sure people out there know about it and sign up for it. So.
Okay.
I thought the ones that were already on Code Red would automatically be switched over.
No, you can't do that.
Can't do that.
Can't do that.
There'll be a lot of a drop then.
I hope not, because you know, this Civic Ready is an excellent program, and the flexibility and the capability of it is really superb to where we work.
Yeah.
But you can't just automatically transfer people over. So,
Am I recalling that when we had the presentation, this one will have unlimited access as opposed to limit with the
There was
previous?
yeah, exactly. Well, this is a time, and we've done really well on time, guys. You notice this, you know, maybe it's because we're getting short in the year, close to the end of the calendar year or whatever, but you guys have done great. You know, an hour, at virtually a little over an hour.
Jason didn't talk that much.
He didn't, no, he didn't, nor did you. But
Somebody pay both of
if you don't mind, I would, because tomorrow is Veterans Day, I would like to take just a few minutes to read a presentation that I'm going to be making both at Camp Nelson and at Keene and at Cedar Creek this next today, tomorrow, and I guess that's it. I don't think it's Saturday today.
Where is Cedar Creek?
It's the lake on 150 going south.
Almost in.
I know where the lake is, but where's the building?
I don't know. I have to find it. You know?
I've told
right
it's to
before-
the left. I've told there's a road to the left. Is that
Yeah.
right across from?
Yeah, right before you cross over the lake, there's a
Judge.
little fire station that sits up on the hill on the left.
It's before you go past the lake.
Yes, and you turn there and you'll go straight down the lane and you'll see it in the background.
I'm told there's a sign.
There it
too.
is.
There's
And
a-
it'll say Sportsman's
Well, I'm
Club
not a
and
huge
Fire
guy.
Department.
I'm
Is
kind
that
of
the
known
fire
too
department
where it
then?
is. So
Yeah, it's
I gotta find
a little fire station on top of the hill.
I have no idea where it was.
But don't go over the lake. If you
Oh,
go over the
follow
lake,
John.
come back.
If you go past the lake, you
John
went
didn't
too
know
far.
either.
If you go past the lake, you're going too far.
Too far.
If you see me on the roadside stopping, we'll figure it out.
All right.
I'll stand on the side and grip.
I asked Robin and Lisa to stay because I know Robin is a veteran also, and so this won't take that long. I want to read through it. Tomorrow we observe Veterans Day, and we honor the men and women throughout our nation's history that chose to wear the military uniform. The act of donning a uniform is a deeply symbolic act, and it's always been that way and is likely to always be that way. And the act expresses a deep, selfless commitment to the ideal we call America. Ordinary men and women defending this nation for more than 200 years, performing extraordinary duty without regard for hardships and with sacrifice. That is what makes the strength of our nation. By undertaking this duty to sacrifice for others they may never know, and for those whom they may not agree with, our veterans have taken the idea of a free nation and turned it into the reality of a free nation. American veterans have answered the call to duty. That is why we honor their service today and tomorrow. That is why we should honor their service every day. Veterans Day started in 1919 after the World War I, when President Woodrow Wilson set aside the 11th hour, the 11th day of the 11th month of November as Armistice Day, which was officially changed to Veterans Day in 1954 by President Eisenhower. That's the history. Military members believe in a cause for which they serve. They are willing to risk everything for those to their left, to their right, and those back home. For many young people throughout history, the experience of always placing another first or serving something larger than themselves is a new experience. The effect, and believe me, we were all young at one time, okay? The effect is profound and life-changing, and for that one special period in a young life, whether through the endless training, taking the fight to the enemy, and with the sacrifices and separation from family, men and women share a common experience of service and will never be the same because of that. Defending against violence and the threat of violence is something in which a veteran has few illusions. You cannot wish away a problem. You cannot blame the problem away. It takes men and women who are strong and who are committed. This is the human dimension that transcends technology. It is the boots on the ground that win the day. And John lived that daily in the most challenging, demanding conditions that man has ever known. John K. Wood. Today's veterans are the custodians of tradition. Their continuity between the generations is critical. Many have made it their duty to support those now in uniform. They know what it means to serve. They've been there and they've done that. From one generation to the next, certain elements of war may change. Weapons may come and go. Uniforms change. Organization and policies are revised. But the noble spirit moving under the American uniform remains the same. We have a duty as veterans to pass on the blessings of freedom to the next generation. Do you appreciate the value of opportunity? I ask that you never pass up an opportunity to thank a veteran for what they have done for us all. The U.S. population in 1945 was 140 million people. 16 million patriots served our military. Roughly 11% of all Americans fought in World War II. Compare that to today, where 332 million people live in the U.S. and less than 1% of all Americans. 1.3 million patriots are currently serving in our military. Today we have 17 million veterans from all conflicts and wars, which is about 6% of our nation's population. To go further, we have 180 World War II veterans dying daily. We now only have 167,000 World War II veterans left out of that 16 million who served. We should consider that the future to show a veteran our appreciation for their service will be more rare, since today's military numbers are the smallest since 1940. Freedom began as an idea, and on Veterans Day we recognize more than 2 centuries of men and women who, through their service, transformed the idea into a reality that is history's greatest triumph of liberty and dignity, the United States of America. On this Veterans Day, and all days, let us give thanks for that we have these men and women among us. God bless our nation, and especially bless our veterans. I would like to thank you.
Good talk, Judge.
Very well done.
I would like to submit to the court a motion to recognize a gentleman who is amongst us right now with the, I hope to be, it has been, and I hope will continue to be an annual award, the Paul Chandler Distinguished Boyle Veteran Award. The first recipient was Paul himself, a combat veteran who fought at the Battle of the Bulge, and the second was Sergeant Jack Hendricks, who has done so much for veterans throughout our county. As has a recommendation that I will present to the court in a motion that we recognize World War II Purple Heart recipient Sergeant Lawrence Hogue of the United States Army as the 2022 Paul Chandler Distinguished Boyle Veteran Award recipient. Tom?
So moved.
Second.
The motion is made by Magistrate Ellis and seconded by Phil Salmons. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, and that motion carries unanimously. I want to ask that that Mr. Hogue, who is in the room, will come forward and stand with me and his son. If anybody wants to see this article, it's in the Boyle County Neighbors Magazine. It's a great article. Where do you want us?
Julie, why don't you get the flag in the background?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, how about we face
Can we
this
bring
way,
it over there?
Lawrence?
No, you got the map next to it.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
I want to see all that blue area on that map.
Chris is sneaking in another picture.
All right.
you ready?
Mhm.
And Judge, can I stand with my good friend?
Yes, please, please. And if the other veterans in the room would like to stand with us, please come forward. John, if you can.
That guy has a beautiful head of hair.
No, I'm jealous.
Hey, you ready?
Okay, here we go.
Wait,
Oh, yeah, go.
the second.
Okay, Phil,
Maybe you
John,
can pull that table, John, and just kind of
Yeah.
here,
Yeah, let's just.
Get out of the picture, Tom.
take the shortcut.
pull this way.
Our county attorney, Phil John.
Phil Salmons.
Right.
I remember years ago when you had the barn and Reddy's stables out. Remember that?
You're right, yeah.
Who's letting him talk so
There was
much?
an accident that was out there one time when the pitman lady got killed. It was a storm coming up.
There's a couple of them right now. Oh,
Judge G, you gavel.
congratulations.
Yeah, all right.
Good to have you.
Yeah, good to have it Lawrence here today.
Proud of you.
Could I have one half of a minute?
Oh, you absolutely can.
You can talk to us all day and we'll stay and
Yes,
listen.
I would like to thank, I would like to thank very much for how you all are honoring veterans. But I need to have about a half a minute to tell my war story.
Well, you can have all day.
And it's gonna be honoring a man who was killed saving my life.
Yeah.
Why don't you go ahead and step over there, Phil?
I thought it was just veterans here.
Yeah. I was in combat 32 days, I believe. And we were running so few on men that were not allowed to go into the mountains too much. You just hold up trying to keep the Japs where they belong. And sometimes we didn't get into all that just right. But the 31 days, they had gathered enough men for other divisions to come in and help us take that man dead or alive. And some of us made the dead. And I'm going to speak that on him right now. As we approach the top of the mountain, as we approached the top of the mountain, we had radio men talking to the generals and things who operated what we did and all. And there was a whole bunch of white linen or so that a small airplane would high and spot and tell us what to do. And so we were supposed to go down there with a whole group of things, maybe 100 feet square, with white, and they couldn't distinguish what it was from the air. So that's where we wound up down there, and it was all Japanese people, just one by one and a rear. And so radio went back, nothing problem. So they asked us then to go back a different way than what you approached. Well, I was the first man going out into that different way. And I was the first man to get grenaded that day.
Take your time.
Okay. Still today, I have 8 pieces of steel from that grenade in my body. Not a one hit of bone
And I've showed that to, I guess, 1,000 people. Just let them feel with my finger and see what a Japanese bullet was like. But they were Japanese, they were all around us in these bushes, and we couldn't see them, and we were just going back out then. So I was the first man to lead the group out.
I'd like to say he can show you one of these pieces of shrapnel. If you want to see the other 7, it's gentlemen only.
Okay. The man, after the grenade hit, I hit the ground, and less than half a minute, there was one soldier who was my squad leader, crawled over to me and said, "Lawrence, let's get out of here." See, the rest was just right back, a few feet backward. And in doing so, he told those 2 men, take this man to get first aid. So we had to climb the mountain, supposed to. And the minute that he handed me, and another man joined him, and handed me the 2 men to take to the top of the hill to get in the Jeep, the Japanese shot that buddy on my right, killed him dead, dropped dead right there. I honor that man. And I've tried very much to locate that man's parents or someone. And through studying the things, they found out that he was adopted when he was 6 years old from Cook County, Illinois. And no other information I could ever find. But he was a man I've always honored, and I do today think more about him because he died for me.
Well, God bless you for your service.
Yeah.
Man,
Go ahead.
I just like to say something. Thank you for telling that story, because that isn't easy.
No,
but these are the stories, ladies and gentlemen, that are out there that will never be told because it is so difficult. Thank you for sharing it. Thank you for honoring that man that died for you, because those are memories and they're nightmares at night for many veterans.
Yep. But thanks for everyone. I have been shown wonderful, and I'm going to tell one more little story. My grandson was in the 1st grade of school, and of course he'd heard me tell some of the stories, and he got to telling. And the teacher asked me, would I come and let the little ones feel of this steel in my hand here. And so they agreed all that, and I went up there one morning, and they gave me a good seat, and the whole 1st grade shook my hand. I felt that little piece of steel right there. But I do have 8 pieces of steel still in the body from the hand grenade, and I have them and take the grave with me.
Tom, if you don't mind, if you step out, because I think you got a picture of Tom and just a veteran.
Yes.
Phil, come on over here and get with just a veteran shot.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. Ready, Phil? Okay. I don't want to get you moving. There we go.
All right.
We'd like to have a
I'm going to read this real quick, and it won't take long.
Okay.
This is the Paul Chandler Distinguished Boyle Veteran Award. Let it be known that to all that World War II Purple Heart Medal recipient Sergeant Lawrence Hogue of the United States Army is hereby recognized for his significant sacrifice and service to the nation, state, and Boyle County, and who helped provide the liberties and freedoms we all enjoy today in the land of the free and the home of the brave. Established in 2020, this annual award is named after Boyle County World War II combat veteran Paul Chandler. Mr. Hogue continues to serve by supporting the military veteran community in Boyle County and the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and has enhanced generational awareness as a custodian of military tradition by promoting the history and virtues of service to America. The accomplishments of Lawrence Hogue has brought great credit upon himself, Boyle County, the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and the United States of America. Presented with unanimous approval by the Boyle County Fiscal Court on behalf of a grateful Boyle County this November 10th, 2022, in the 180 year of Boyle County, Kentucky. Congratulations.
Can I give you a salute? I would love to.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna give this fine gentleman one of the most precious things. Now, I want to tell you one more thing first. When I went into combat, it was in Asia night, and the Japs had already cut the creek off, and we just had to work our way through to get the. But the following morning was the first day I was in combat, and I got shot at pretty good several times. But it was all able to get out of it. But the rest of them, when we started up the mountain as far as we could go, some tall gentlemen, we were not allowed nobody to wear anything that distinguished
Right.
Right. Mm-hmm. And that had to be done that way. That's all. But some old-looking man come to me and said, "Son, you better get right here and stay right here till we get back." So I did what I was told, and there was what do you call a man get in that hole?
Foxhole.
Foxhole. Okay. The foxhole was right there, and so I just stood around it, wondering what was going to take place next. And all of a sudden, I got to saying, I've got to get in that foxhole quickly. And as I did and got down in the hole, there was a Japanese in the bushes not far, hit the dust instead of my face and went on. Well, I was hoping right then, what am I going to do here by myself? In order to stay there. And so finally they got back 2 hours later, and I was scared to death. But anyway, I went through combat 16 days. How many days?
32 days before you were
Yeah,
wounded.
before I was hurt, and I am I don't know what I'm supposed to say.
That's okay. That's okay.
Anyway,
All right, guys, let me get you with the plaque plans.
I was a paratrooper with the 11th Airborne Division.
Man.
I jumped out one, you had to jump 5 times to qualify, and I jumped 2 times after that.
Yeah.
But we had a great job, and they reinstated the 11th Airborne not many months back. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure to talk to you. I would like to give this one man a salute.
They'll wait to hold your award.
Yeah.
You do that.
I'm going to try to stand up with
I'll
you.
hold you.
Sir, I thank you for being one of the most wonderful men I've known.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If I could take a moment, one thing he's not touched upon is when the war was over, his unit, he was the first unit into Japan after the armistice.
Yes.
And he did serve a unit, about a year on occupation duty.
We,
Thank you, sir.
we followed orders all the way. That's the way we don't work in the Army.
Phil, stay up here, man.
And,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
but anyway, generals and things have their thoughts too, just and the Navy, and we had to have Navy, same as Army, but the Navy man was pushing to be the first people to set foot on Japan. But General, what's that big general's name in the
MacArthur.
he wanted
Dugout Doug.
He was crazy about Army. So
He was Army, so.
yeah. And he made the Navy back off until we were the first division in Japan.
He was
The first
he was
division
both.
in Japan, I'm gonna say that.
Okay. Thank you, Lawrence. I appreciate it. I want to do something with these 2 guys right now, okay?
I thought the Army was, when I went in, was the only. I didn't know we had an Air Force.
Yeah, thank you, gentlemen.
Have a seat for a minute.
You went in before they had airplanes, so.
Thank you.
Julie, I've got some more photo ops here, just real quick. Since tomorrow is Veterans Day, I've written a veterans tribute, and we have 2 very special veterans who, the 3 of us, will not be here next year. So I wanted to take this opportunity on Veterans Day to read something I wrote 5 years ago. And I have a plaque for John, and I have a plaque for Phil Salmons. And I'm going to read these, and it's for each one of them. Veterans have done what others would not do. Veterans have served others before themselves. Veterans have gone where others would not go. Veterans saved liberty from the grasp of tyrants. Veterans humbly served as custodians of tradition. Veterans faced adversity with the resolve to overcome. Veterans have done all they could do to keep our nation free. Veterans' uniforms form the patriotic fabric of our nation. Veterans' walk through history has been freedom's best friend. And we all know that veterans rightfully are the pulse of America's greatness. John, I'd like to present this to you as a small token of my appreciation for being a veteran and your service. Thank you. Phil, this is for you.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Y'all can say something if you like.
Just thank you, Judge.
Hey, about those push-ups though.
Judge, I want to thank you very much. It's hard to know what to say, other than it's an honor to have served.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You are killing me. I've never cried so much in a meeting.
I don't have anything else, so I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
Make a motion.
Motion to adjourn, made by Magistrate Cullen and seconded by Magistrate Short. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion carries. Thank you. We stand adjourned.